So here's Corinne, 34 years old. She said she has a very tired face and wants to be more healthy, more beautiful and harmonious face. We see those strong, deep vertical lines because of the corrugator contraction. Some horizontal line, very discreet, but when she pull up the eyebrows, you see those wrinkles. So it's a preventive treatment. And also this nasolabial fold very deep. And we combine the treatment with Vistabel and with soft line. And if you look at the face, she had an asymmetry of the eyebrows also. You see that the left eyebrow is higher than the right eyebrow. It's not only the tail of the eyebrow that's lower. So we need to inject the corrugator, but also the orbicularis muscle, not only laterally, but medially and internally. One unit in the orbicularis muscle and one unit in the depressor supercilii, who is really a depressor of the head of the eyebrow. And here is the projection of the orbicularis muscle, concentric, large, and thin superficial muscle. So depressor supercilii is a part of the orbicularis muscle and the medial part of this muscle. And you see when she contracts this muscle, pull down the head of the eyebrow. Deeper, of course, is the strong and thick and short corrugator muscle. When you contract the orbicularis muscle, you have laterally the crow's feet. Then you can close the eyes, and when you contract really strongly, strong, it pulls down the tail of the eyebrows. So when we relax this lateral part of the orbicularis muscle, this pull up the eyebrows, of course. The last point is those crinkle lines under the eyes. It's two reasons. First is the contraction of the orbicularis muscle, but it's also the skin and the contraction. So here the projection of the tarsus, it's a cartilaginous plate. We can inject this orbicularis muscle only in this part because we have no risk of diffusion because of this tarsus, and not injection this area because this area is a danger zone because you're going to have diffusion on the oculus muscles. So the best way is to inject on the pupilla. You see here tangentially to the projection of the pupillus, 1 unit for each point. We can do it on Corinne because she had a very strong lower eyelid. She had a good muscle and a good tendon and a good lateral canthal ligament. You control this by pulling down 5 seconds the eyelid, and this goes up. So it means that she had a very good elasticity. And the second test is the snap test. You see the eyelid is coming down fast to the eye, so it means she had a very good elasticity. And she had no hernia, no fat hernia. That's why she will have a good result. If you had a fat hernia, forget to inject your orbicularis muscle because you will increase this hernia. So when she contracts all those muscles, you see the contraction of the nasalis muscle laterally, and this is called the bunny lines. It's a large muscle, very thin, very superficial, from one side to the other side, responsible of this bunny lines. Nasalis muscle. So we'll inject only 1 unit for each muscle. Here in contact with the bone. So we start with the corrugator muscle. With my left thumb, I palpate the orbital rim, and I will hold my syringe like a pencil 1 centimeter above the head of the orbital rim and the head of the eyebrow. I will inject perpendicular 4 units in this first point. Direction is to the top to avoid any diffusion to the orbiter. But because of vestibule, it's safe and only 1 centimeter of diffusion. And with a gentle pressure, not a massage, but a pressure, we gently push up the product, and we are safe because of vestibule. I don't like to cross my hands, so I use my left index to palpate the orbital rim, 1 centimeter above the orbital rim, and in that case I prefer to inject 1 point of injection, and I inject the 8 units all along the corrugator muscle. Only with 1 injection I inject the body and the insertion laterally, so I inject the full body of the muscle. So we treat completely bone insertion and skin insertion. To correct this eyebrow asymmetry, I will inject 1 point, the first point 2 units, very superficial. You don't need to touch the bone. The skin is attached to the frontalis muscle, so by just being just under the skin, you're in the frontalis muscle. So the injection is a V shape open to the sky, so we keep a free area with not injecting with vestibule laterally, so the frontalis muscle will be able to contract and to pull up the tail of the eyebrows. And because of the asymmetry, we will inject 2 units here. And 2 units higher to keep the action of the frontalis muscle laterally. The ice pack with the gauze with hydrogen peroxide help the patient to relax and to stop any bleeding. Here are the projection of linea temporalis, and I inject tangentially to the orbital rim, 1 centimeter above the orbital rim. And immediately under the skin is the orbicularis muscle. So 1 centimeter of diffusion around this point. This is only vestibule that have this very safe diffusion. Each point is 2 units. And if you want to be safer, you inject far away from the orbital rim, and this injection is very safe and very superficial. So it's 6 units now. To relax the orbicularis muscle and change the muscular balance. On the left side, we will inject less on the orbicularis muscle to compensate the asymmetry, so we can a little bit less this orbicularis muscle on the left side. To pull up the medial part and the central part of the eyebrow, we had injecting the corrugator or depressors. We will inject 1 unit in the depressor supercilii. So this is a very delicate injection, injecting to the top, always to the top, and very superficial. We are 8 millimeter above the orbital rim, only 1 unit, very precise and always to the top. And this is only possible with vestibule because it's very safe. 1 unit on depressor supercilii and 1 unit in the central part of the orbicularis muscle. This is to weaken this part and to help the frontalis muscle to pull up all the eyebrows. So no exercise, of course, after the injections, no sauna, no massage, to avoid any diffusion. So look at how I I'm sitting and how I control all my movements. I inject 1 unit only and to the top, only superficial to relax the depressor supercilii. And here I control where is the orbital rim, and I inject 8 mm above the orbital rim, very superficial, into the orbicularis muscle. And jet on pressure only to the top. This is the way to relax the lower part of the orbicularis muscle. You see the projection of the pupilla. We will do 2 points of 1 unit, asking the patient to look up. It's very superficial, it's a bit painful, so we ask the patient to look up, and we inject only 1 unit, very superficial under the skin, and we're sure to be in the orbicularis muscle. We have no risk of diffusion because of the vestibule and because of the tarsus behind the orbicularis muscle. And we control with the gentle pressure. 1 to 2 millimeter under the eyelashes, and really tangential to these eyelashes and to the border of the eyelids. Very superficial and gently. And remember, we want to finish with this bunny lines correction. We go to the contact to the bone to inject the nasalis muscle, 1 to 2 units. In that case, it's 1 unit, and the gentle pressure. What is important is to avoid the veins. You see here with the zoom, you see the veins. So the goal is to avoid the veins and to inject in this muscle. It's very easy to find this muscle. The problem is to avoid these veins. So 1 unit and a gentle pressure. Now we are 1 month later. It's a live session in a workshop. So we start with the injection of the vertical lines of the upper lip, and this is a soft line. So I did MLA cream anesthesia and anesthesia with lidocaine. So in that case, the orbicularis muscle is a bit weakened. So we have to push the lip and to contract the lip with the fingers because she's not able to move. So inject vertical and tangential to the wrinkles. And then we are going to cross the injection. We finish with the lip contour at the border of the red lip and the white lip. So we stabilize the injection with my finger and with my index. So you see it's very precise, only on the border, and this is a real artistic treatment. And with soft line it's really good because soft line is very harmonious, and the viscosity is really harmonious. Every time you inject you have the same pressure and the same amount of liquid. Here are some vertical lines. We inject 0.1 cc, and with the gauze with peroxide hydrogen we control the bleeding. And the other side we make a remodeling, lip remodeling, by injecting the contour. It's important to be deeper under the orbicularis muscle and to make the same pressure on the syringe. So you have only 1 point of injection and you inject a lot of product. Here again a vertical line, because if you inject point by point you have more points of injection. And here she had a light asymmetry, so I inject 0.2 cc on the lower lip to inject again the contour. Really this gel soft line is really cool to inject. And again the contour on the left side to have a nice harmonious lip. The product lasts 1 year, really, it's my experience. And so we can make touch-up after a month if you want, and if the patient wants. But I don't like to overcorrect, of course, the lips. And it's important the patient is happy when you finish the injection. This is really a key point. When the patient go away from the office, it's important to have a satisfied patient. Again, I finished with some touch-up to correct the small light asymmetries on the lips. The nasolabial folds are really deep, so in that case, we will inject more on the left side than the right side. So it's soft line max. It's thicker than the soft line. I stabilize my fingers and my hand on the face of the patient. I inject on the deep dermis, and I push with the same pressure on the piston of the syringe, and I see immediately the results. So it's not only the nasolabial fold treatment, but also the wrinkle. You have a fold and the wrinkle, because even if Corinne is very young, she had deep wrinkles. Sometimes the product comes out, but it's not a problem. You can inject deeper, and that's why it's important not to have a lot of puncture. When you want to correct the wrinkle, the superficial wrinkle, it's important to be superficial. And then I correct the folds by the crossing injection, and here I'm deeper. The junction of the deep dermis and the epidermis. This Softline Max is a really fantastic product because it's very, very homogeneous, and the same pressure you have, the same amount of product you inject. So for me, in my hands, it's really a very easy product to inject. 0.6 cc on the left side, and here 0.4 cc on the right side. Again, I like to start lower, so in case you have some bleeding, you're not in a difficult position. And I ask her to smile because I want to correct deeper wrinkles. And here I inject with one hole. I inject a lot of product with only one hole and with a lot of tunnels. 0.2 cc vertically, and we will do 0.3 cc here, and we'll cross with 0.1 cc. And this is nappage or cross injection is really interesting because of the diffusion of the product around the tunnels and with the fibrosis after the healing process after a month. That's why I can contact the patient and ask them to come back after a month for the touch-up sometime. And you see in the smile, you can also correct the facet. Some patients, they like their facet, but sometimes it's interesting to feel them. So the product will go in the tunnels, and with a gentle massage, sometimes a bit stronger, you feel all the irregularities. And because of this wonderful cross-link hyaluronic acid, you can have a very harmonious injection and a very nice contour. It's not only the wrinkle injection, it's really nappage and the contour injections. So we'll see in a month if she needs a touch-up on these vertical lines. Same maneuver on the right side. And this hyaluronic acid is it's stabilized. When you squeeze it, you have not, you don't damage it like we have with other hyaluronic acid for other companies. So we see the results, and she can have some bruising and some swelling. So we'll finish with a nappage around the eyes. It's not a tear trough deformity, but she had some hollow eyes when she smiled, and some wrinkle. So we will inject only soft line here under the orbicularis oculi muscle, never under the skin, always above, under the orbicularis muscle. So we go in contact to the bone, and when we feel the bone, we are in the deep layers, we are in the fat pad, suborbicularis oculi fat pad, under the orbicularis muscle, and this injection is horizontal, no danger for the orbiter. The only point is to avoid the vessels. And here you have no fat, but we are still under the orbicularis muscle. So it's important to have a nice harmonious injection and a nice, that we call in French, a nappage, so we can cross the injection and have a nice harmonious feeling of this area. Then gentle pressure to avoid the bleeding and the swelling. And you see when she smiles, you see the correction and some touch up under the orbicularis muscle. So we ask the patient to have a gentle pressure on the gauze, and we are going to do the right side. So this is really the viscosity of this soft line that's interesting in this area, because it's very delicate and very precise. When I use this product, it's very interesting because, for example, collagen is not harmonious. Other hyaluronic acid are not harmonious. And you never overcorrect with this hyaluronic acid, with this soft line. So this area that is not easy area to treat is very safe and easy to treat with this soft line. So we're again very deep in contact with the bone under the orbicularis muscle. So it's the junction between the lower eyelid and the malar fat pad. And this can be a corrective but also preventive treatment. And here is the tear trough deformity treatment. We have no fat, but only the skin, the muscle, and the bones. So we dissect the muscle from the bone by pulling it with hyaluronic acid. A gentle pressure to smooth and to spread the product from all the region. That's how we can have a nice contour. We are ready to go to see the result of Corinne 1 month later, combined treatment, Vistabel and Softline. So she had 20 units on the glabellar and in total 50 units in all the face. So she has a more open look with higher eyebrows. But the result is interesting because it's very natural. She has expression. So Vistabel has an action of 5 months, so she will come back after 5 months. And I like to ask the patient to come back really regularly, because that's a good way to have a good contact with the patient and to control what you had done to her. On the lower face, she had 1 syringe of soft line and 2 syringes of soft line max. We corrected the hollow eyes, the lips contour, and the nasolabial fold. And you see how nice is the smile and how natural is the lips. So it's really the combining treatment with Vistabel on the expression and soft line on the volumes. Not only the wrinkle, but the volumes, to give again the youth, the youngest volumes. And for soft line, I asked them to come back after a year. So she smiled, and she had an expression of the eyebrows. Remember, we had this injection on orbicularis muscle and depressor supercilii on the crow's feet, but also on the depressor and orbicularis muscle. So the eyebrows are higher, and we see much more the eyes. And correction of these bunny lines. So it's not perfect, but she still has some wrinkle, but when she's smiling, she has less wrinkles.
Je suis très satisfaite du résultat, j'ai l'air plus reposée, détendue et les gens autour de moi trouvent que j'ai une mine plus lumineuse.